So we have discussed about the present situation and the future planning. So in present Hong Kong, we have a structure already set up by the bishop. It's got 3 pillars. The 3 pillars is marriage, family, and life. This is the 3 pillars that we think that a healthy person needs support from these 3 pillars. So all our ministry is based on family, marriage, and life, these 3 pillars. And we have 2 methods of deliver this. One is care, and other is training. And so care and training is all in these 3 pillars. And what's the practical, how we practical the structure? The structure of the commission have 5 ministry and 2 departments. So this 5 ministry and 2 departments is under the 3 pillars. The 3 pillars and it's going 2 methods. One is care, one is training. The 5 ministry is, one is led by me, is on marriage and family. Another one is of theology of body, it's led by John. Another one is on counseling, led by Paul. And the other 2, the leader hasn't come today. The other 2 ones on same-sex attraction. That's homosexual. In Hong Kong, we call same-sex attraction. Another one, pro-life. Yeah, pro-life is a new group. It's on life. Yeah, pro-life. So actually, in the 31st of May, we have set up a pro-life day. We follow the other country in Hong Kong. In the 31st of May every year, it will be pro-life day. We have pro-life mass and all the activities. So this is the present situation. So what we look at is the future. From this day, among the discussion in our group, we thought of something that we can bring back to Hong Kong. The first one is we think a full-time paid minister is necessary. So that's why Hong Kong, we think that we have started up already, where actually Paul is a full-time paid employee minister staff for under the commission. So John and me is not full-time paid, so we need to have our own job. So we are starting up to do this thing, so try to maintain a full-time staff, and the church, the parish, try to support that office staff. Another thing we heard of some from Father Charles is the parish counseling center. We think that this may be, we may adopt this, try to, but we have to think about the money, because so we need to think about how we get the resource, the money to set up all the parish, because it needs to employ professional, it need money to employ those professional, and we have 50 parish, so it's a long term, maybe a long term goal. From the sharing from Angela and Honil yesterday, we heard about not just fatherhood, and also mother also have we need to also care about. In Hong Kong, we are now setting up some concern on fatherhood, and so we're setting up some activity. But also, I think we need to bring back is also need to focus on motherhood. So it's parenthood, both the father and mother. We need to have some care and training to them. Yesterday, I heard about Wendy talk about poverty. I think of this. We have left this dimension in Hong Kong. We always think about the like middle class. So actually, we left some people, the poverty, the people in the lower income class. So we will bring back this concept in our words. Bishop Lee talked about welcoming community. Yeah, it is a good idea. So we will think about how we will talk with Bishop, what we can done in Hong Kong, try to make a parish more welcoming. The younger want to stay in the parish, want to stay in the church. So what we can do, they feel that it's like a home in the parish. from Professor Chan, we try to we have a equation. We got the equation: love equal life. So we already have 3 pillars in the present situation: family, life, and marriage. I'll try to include one more dimension. Actually, we haven't left it out, but it hasn't explicitly spelled out. It's a love. Love is inside this 3 pillars, maybe as a center. So actually, love equal family, love equal marriage, love equal life. Yeah? It's also introduce the 4 dimensions into these 3 pillars, our present situation. Father Chow talked about the 3 pillars, the SDP, NFS, TTA. So when we review this 3 pillars, we found that actually this model is similar to what our present situation. In Hong Kong, what we're setting up the commission is actually has this element in already. So we will bring back Father Charles' model and talk with our commission. And we seem to be on the right track following. And yesterday I heard some sharing from Mr. Horn. He's talking about I, you, and we, talking about homosexual. So it seems that in Hong Kong, we commission is on the position of I. And then we, on the care and training part, you. I'm training you. I'm care for you. So we will bring back another dimension that we talk of we. So we together to move. So not I'm caring for you. I'm on the high side. You are on the low side. So we are level. We are working together to improve the family, marriage, and life. So the final thing we talk about is about we have country report this morning, and also we have many countries sharing or doing a meal. We share with each other, talk about each other. So I'm thinking whether we have some experience sharing over a platform. We have information technology that we can introduce a platform that we can become a collection of all this sharing, and also all the website. And then also in Hong Kong, we have already built up many publicity material and also some teaching material. We have displayed something at the back. So some people already asking us, can I take this or take this? So actually, we can share this. Maybe in every country, you have already got some materials prepared. We can share it, and under information technology platform, IT build up a platform that everyone know which country have what material, and then we can ask for permission. Maybe can we translate your material to our language and then use it? Yeah, maybe already done some research, and we can save our time. Oh, that's all from Hong Kong. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deacon Lewis. That was an excellent synthesis, not only of the plans that you have and the things that you have set up that the rest of the countries can greatly benefit from, but also your distillation of everything that you gained, that we gained, and that we heard during these days. So thank you so much. And I like that suggestion very much in the end, that we can pool our resources and make them available for one another. One aspect of the sharing that we heard in the very beginning of this conference. Thank you. All right, next we have Japan, the delegation from Japan. Okay. Welcome, Father Thomas and Mr. and Mrs. Jimba. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Before we start giving a report, I'd like to share a few words of thanks on our part to each and every one of you for contributing to making this conference the success that it is. The delegation that that is us, you know, from Japan. It's somewhat unique in that, Mr. and Mrs. Jimba and Mr. Ryu, they are, as you know, active members, very active in marriage encounter movement, but I never knew them, and they never knew me before we came here. So no such thing exists in any other delegations, right? And this is somewhat indicative of the reality that I'd like to explain to you that exists in Roman Catholic Church in Japan. But first of all, you know, so I'm new, and I was a stranger to these. But over the course of these past few days, you know, we have, I feel, become a family and become a team that we are supposed to be. After all, we are members of the body of Christ. And but this has transpired within the context of a warm welcome and a sense of affirmation that is constantly renewed during the course of this conference. And so our heartfelt thanks goes to each and every one of you, and especially to members of the steering committee and coordinators, and to Wendy, to Your Grace Bishop John Lee, and to all of you for extending to us a warm welcome and the affirming us over and over again to so that we can become a team. Yes. And first of all, the family ministry, which is very important, is not given the pride of place that it deserves within the church in Japan, I don't think. That's my honest impression and my honest feeling. And all the bishops, I think, are aware of the importance, but in light of the difficulties, complexities involved in responding to the needs of the families, especially those in all kinds of distress, the church, including the bishops and all the clergy, feel it's just a formidable task, and we go to probably something that we feel is more easily, we can handle more easily, you know. So, but first of all, our task when we go back to Japan is one of education and conscientization in terms of helping to the church community to understand and be convinced of the importance of the family ministry, and this has to take place not only in one or two dioceses, but all the dioceses in our country. And so that is number one, which is very formidable, that has to be done because family ministry deserves all the efforts we can make to, so that we can reach out to those in need. して、あと何言ったっけ？
これじゃないですか。若者を集める。
So, yeah, that's the, what we feel has to be done, but we need an instrument, an organization that is charged to carry this formidable task. And we have to talk to the bishops. We have to talk to many priests. And we have to talk to our friends. But we were discussing it yesterday that, yes, okay. We'd like to sit with I hate to mention the name, but Archbishop Takami, who is in charge, and because we have to start from where we are. We have to accept the reality and start from there. That's number one. And yes, we, each and every diocese and each and every parish needs to become a family, which it's supposed to be. Like we have this here, right, in this conference hall, a family. That's why we felt welcome. We felt affirmed. And our communities, many communities in Japan, need to become a family like what we have here.
So we ourselves decided that we should be on the front line of the pastoral approach in Japan. We really decided this is a give decision.
See what's going to happen. Yeah, we promise you to raise our voice to the Bishops' Conference, and what I feel here attending this conference, I remember Philadelphia World Family Day. In that conference, key session has presented by Cardinal Tagle, that he's been talking about home, that family. Well, through that presentation, we learned a lot, but family is such a place. Maybe we might fight each other, we might cry each other, but there's healing and home. So wounded mind might be healed at a home and a family. So all those relations, as a church, we feel that church should be like home, to welcome everybody, well, to cheer them up, maybe healing, as well as what else? So, well, back to Japan, maybe we might have a chance to raise our voice to all those bishops, and something we hope can be changed in Japan.
We will be noisy. Off the record, off the record. I have to admit, with shame and humility, let me explain. I've never been in family ministry. I am 24 years ordained, but I've never been in family ministry. So that's where I am. But I never knew before I came that we do not have the commission on the family within the Bishops' Conference in Japan. It existed before, but for some reason or other, it was just disbanded, probably to give more priority to other needs that do exist, but that's where we are. So we have to do something about it. And we need your help. Thank you.
I just want to say a word to the Japanese delegation. They are very courageous to come from the different parts of Japan, knowing that the challenges they will face many countries that have a lot more done. But I just wanted to say that actually for many years already, more than 20 years, Japan, are you listening? For more than 20 years, a Japanese delegation has been coming from Archbishop Takami's diocese, Nagasaki, to the small Christian community gatherings. And here I see some possible synergy. The gathering of families around the Word of God is already taking place in some places in Japan through the work of Mr. Nagano and many others in Nagasaki. So I propose that you don't start alone, that you find people who are also passionate, and that you work from the bottom up as well as talking to the bishops, so that at least something can be happening on the ground that gathers momentum. So whether the bishops do anything or they don't do anything is not so critical to something happening for the families. So I think if we can bring 4 families together, or 3, already we are doing something good, you know? So just to say that. Thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Japan, for that inspiring presentation. I think our prayers are very much behind you and with you in your efforts, and we know that God will bless them and bring great fruit, because you are an inspiration to all of us as well. Thank you. All right, may we hear from Mongolia? And again, it was really striking to see all of you come out as a team. So again, we welcome all of the delegates from Mongolia. We are a team, we are a family together, and it's been a great joy to experience that on many levels these days. So thank you. Our spokesperson.
Good morning. We greet in Mongolia, Sambaino. Shall we say that one? Sambaino, which means, is there anything good in you? Is there? So you say, San. San. We came in this conference hoping that Mongolia Mission will be known to East Asia. Because it was even noticed that all the delegates from Mongolia are all Filipinos. Mongolia mission is only 25 years old this coming July 9 as a mission. We went there and we arrived there with no church, no Christians, no believers. In fact, in the parish where I am working, well, sorry to say this one, I was still the one who built the church. I was still the one who went around Ulaanbaatar to gather actually people. So we started from zero, and after 25 years, it was only last year that we had, the ordination of the first ever Mongolian priest. So that was after 24 years. And this coming July 9, all of you are invited. We are celebrating our 25th year anniversary as a mission. Our bishop describes the church in Mongolia as an infant church. Infant. That is why we started from zero. There was nothing, for commissions like that. It was only 3 weeks ago that we started the Marriage and Family Life Commission. It took us a lot of courage and humility to accept that we missionaries cannot do it alone. So, guided by the talk of Father Charles Sim, SJ, we will go back to Mongolia guided by the 3 principles: the systemic and developmental perspective, the training and therapeutic approach, and the marital and family spirituality. Well, of course, indeed it is true that proper theories, guiding our Mongolian families. Mongolians are nomadic people. They are here today, and the following month they are on another place, bringing along with them, their sheep, their cattle, their goats, their camels, their horses. So they don't stay in one place. The same is true with the relationship with men and women or husbands and wives. Our men are promiscuous. Our men are like butterflies. They come to this flower here tonight, the following night in another flower, to the point that sometimes, maybe that is the word Mongoloid, because of incest. Because they are family members, they are relatives. And how many orphanages do we have? Well, it is because of the lack of commitment in marriage. In Mongolia, it was like this before. Early in the morning, the first one to wake up is the wife. The wife will light the fire, will prepare tea for breakfast, while the father goes out of the gear or the tent to prepare the horse. And when the breakfast is ready, the mother wakes the child. "My son, wake up. We are going to have our breakfast." And the father carries the child to the breakfast table, and they eat together. Before leaving, the father will bless the child. "I bless your day. Go." And he carries the child, brings him on the horse. And because the child was blessed, whoever he meets along the way, he blesses them. And it is a blessed day. But nowadays, it's a little bit different. The child wakes up hoping that the breakfast will be ready, but both his parents, the mother and the father, are drunk. So he starts the day with anger. he wakes up his mother, but the mother is still hungover, experiencing hangover. The father too. He goes to school, taking his horse, beating his horse, and he curses everybody along the street. And this is our future. So it takes us a lot of time, but we priests or missionaries alone cannot do it. That is why we need the lived experiences of Couples for Christ as our partners in the mission. Here they are. These are the committed parents, men and women of the Couples for Christ. After all, we need to accept, we priests and missionaries, that we cannot do it alone. We need them. We need to be partners, in doing the mission. When we go back, of course, we will start building on family relationship. And this will be our foundation. But not tomorrow, not next week. In God's time, we will have a better foundation for our Mongolian families. We too will be embarking on the empowerment of our local Mongolians. We will be training leaders. We will be accompanying them in their lives, their children, and even the whole family. We will encourage them to have regular monthly household prayers. And with our Couples for Christ here, we wanted to show to them that actually family works forever. They will be showing good examples to our Mongolian couples. They have committed themselves to do regular follow-up, for our Mongolian couples. We too thought of, hiring a full-time worker. We will stop here because we don't want, to procrastinate or to, express to you things that would make our mission difficult. But what is important is that we will be with them, no matter what will happen. Journeying is the key here. Not, that we will be going there as experts, but simply we wanted to share life with them. And sharing life means sharing love to them. What will be the future of Mongolia, nobody knows, because we are being persecuted. In fact, we already have 2 parishes that were closed. I am the second parish priest to be sent out of Mongolia. And but we always believe that maybe tomorrow our church permit will be granted, and we will all go back to Mongolia. Our bishop is losing his hair very fast because he is the only one who might probably stay. Church in Mongolia is a little bit difficult. All our orphanages, all our schools, all our institutions are always at the lookout, actually, of the Communist Party. They took all the crosses, actually, in our orphanages, in our schools, clinics, so that, we can never talk about Jesus in all these institutions. In fact, putting a cross outside our church is also questionable, to the point that when you go to a church, you don't feel it as a church, because, we are still under control, by the government. So don't be surprised that we are all Filipinos, because it is an infant church. And as in an infant church, we will not be the one to do it, but your help is also very much welcomed, actually, in Mongolia. I think I
Will like. Thank you, Father Ronald. Just a short time. In the journey, we plan to really cultivate the good relationship in the accompaniment. No? And I try to categorize this into the 5 C's. No? Letter C, starting with letter C. First is creativity, because as Father Ronald mentioned, it's a very infant church. The language and the culture is very much different from us, no, missionaries. So there has to be a lot of creativity, especially in dealing with the youth. No. Second C is commitment. I think that's also something that we need to really work on. In our church in the Philippines, there's a lot of them. But the challenge before us as missionaries is how to be able to show them what true commitment is and what priority should be put into it. I guess we learned a lot from the many discussions here, and so we have put this together. And the third C is communicate. No? How to be able to communicate despite the language, despite the culture, despite the tradition that's very much different from the Christian tradition. The fourth C is cultivate relationship within the family, and I also heard from, I think, the good bishop and from Father Charles, relationship even of the priest, no? Of the Catholic laity, and the Catholic hierarchy in the laity, Father. No? Right now, the infant church is about almost 1,000 no? Catholics. No? 1,222. Okay, exactly 1,222, including Father Ronald. The final C is catechesis. We believe that there's a lot of room wherein in the Mongolian church, catechesis can be given even to the adults, no? Not just the young. And catechesis would really help them see what the role of the family is in society and in the church at large.
The word accompaniment has been heard so many times during the past so many days. And that's what we intend to do. That's what the Lord has led us to do for the past few years that we have been to Mongolia. And I guess that forms part of the commitment that the Lord seeks in each of the missionaries that He calls to Mongolia. But with the situation in Mongolia, I guess we are to be guided as well by the words of a bishop in India. I forgot the name. It's very hard to pronounce. But he's saying about whispering the gospel to the heart of Asia. Whispering connotes a relationship, an intimacy. In an intimacy that can only be acquired through constant accompaniment. It's a privileged position to be able to whisper something. And so, I guess this is the posture that the missionaries, the Catholics that goes to Mongolia will do to accompany our brethren there. So that in time, maybe that relationship will grow. And in God's time, all these things will bear fruit.
Thank you very much. May God bless us all.
Thank you. Thank you for those very inspiring reflections. And I remember being in Taiwan when we first heard news that the CICM fathers would be opening a mission in Mongolia, and how excited we were. So it's nice to see 25 years later the fruits that have come from that. And accompaniment really is a key. Thank you. I think that is something that all of us will be taking home. But there's great power in that, because just think of Jesus and his apostles. That was their strength. That was their strength in accompanying the early Christians. They didn't have programs. They didn't have processes. They didn't have all these needed departments, but grew over time. So time is a gift that God has given, and Thank you. Thank you for all of your beautiful reflections. All right, then we move to our host team, Taiwan. Team number 1 and team number 2. I don't know if there's a preference of who would wish to go first. Okay, please. You're representing Taipei area, is that correct?
Here we summarize what have been shared in the group Taipei. 然后we are group 1. Taipei 和新竹，对。First, Papa Francis has the wisdom to prepare us for a glorious 后面爱的喜乐，爱的喜乐，which is great attention for family ministry. Perhaps the bishop can appoint some institute parishes of groups to do the counseling for couples, and families are announced it for everyone in need. And perhaps appoint 1 or 2 institutes for the formation or training. Number 2, establish a group for the couples in parishes to accompany the new married couples. 3, Hearing the 8th Stage of Life is a book. It's helpful the group of couple to grow. Emphasize not the activities, but try to put the family spiritually in everyday life. For example, pray together, invent Jesus to work together, do not sing counseling together. We should pay attention to immigrate with their children. Their number are more and more, but with great diversity and have difficulty to integrate in Taiwan. The church is the place where they perhaps feel safe and comfortable. According to the express, to help the Catholics from Korea, Philippines, Indonesia, or Vietnam, we need the religious and我可以用中文吗？谢谢。哦，所以用中文是不是好？哎，给我3秒钟，我脑袋转换一下，从英文转回中文。我第5点刚刚讲的是说，其实在台湾有很多的新住民，那这些新住民的孩子其实是越来越多的。
In Taiwan, the 5th point in Taiwan, we have newer members living in Taipei, and they are mostly immigrations.
Read it. All right. We'll go back because I was in that group yesterday, so Okay, the summary from this group that was shared is that Pope Francis has given us great wisdom to prepare for our respective ministries through the document which we have looked at during these days. and raised our attention to family ministry. It was suggested that perhaps the bishops could appoint some institutes, parishes, or groups to do consulting for couples and families and announce it more broadly so that everyone is aware of these and making it available for those in need. And perhaps one or two of these institutes could be promoted as the main centers for formation and training. Secondly, establishing a group for the couples in parishes to accompany the newly married couples. We have things already in existence for pre-marriage to a limited degree, but we need to expand also, and not after they're married, forget about them. Healing in the 8 stages of life is helpful for the group and the couples to know. That's the name of a particular book. Is that correct? Yes, that's a highly recommended reading book. The 4th point, emphasize not merely the activities, but try to put family spirituality into everyday life. For example, by praying together, inviting Jesus to walk with the families together, to do anything consciously together. 5th, to pay attention to the newly immigrated families or families that have a Taiwanese father or mother, but the other spouses from another culture. Their numbers are growing more and more here, and with great diversity, and they have difficulty integrating into the Taiwan culture. So the church is the place where they feel safe and comfortable. And according to the experience and the help from Catholics from Korea, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Vietnam, we need religious and priests from the respective countries to minister to them because of the language and the mentality. So our efforts as the local Taiwanese people to reach out to them can be effective to a certain degree, but they need shepherds from their own cultural background to really be with them. 6, the one reason more to work together, not only in the family ministry, but also across all of the ministries, to connect and link services to the family with immigration and other issues and other needs. Next, this is a chance and a platform for us to reflect on our own family, and one person shared her own personal experience. Does my family live out our faith? How do I share my experience in this group, in this week that I have experienced with the group and with my own family? And do we really listen to each other? They were key and very important reflections. Finally, for the next year, another theme in the church will be presented that we heard that the next synod is going to be on youth. But there's perhaps a caution or a hesitation. Now a new topic is presented. Does that mean we will forget about the families? Not exactly the correct wording, but it's in our minds very much at the forefront that we cannot do that. We need to keep family as the basic cell of the church. And for example, families with prayer, family in the Eucharist, families in vocation, families with, instead of perhaps the terminology that is more commonly used, year of prayer, year of the Eucharist, year of vocation, year of etc., etc. So year of the youth. Youth indeed are very much part of the families, so that family would continue to pervade, and that awareness of the need of serving family would be prominent and continue to be in everyone's prime awareness. Anything else? Okay, very good. Thank you. Then our next group,
Sister Anne, working double duty today. I talk in Chinese, Sister Margaret? Well, I try my best to really just summarize our team. Our team, we have a great discussions, and then when the bishops Lee joined us, and then really gear us in a very good directions, and it gave us a good point. And it's really the reflections and the feedback, what we learned from this times of a conference of these few days. 所以我们聚会的时候就是着重的把我们所得到的用重点式的方式分享出来。那李主教帮我们把它抓了一些标题，所以我会把标题给你们，然后你们会比较清楚一点。那我试试中，可能 I'm to try to Chinese translate into English. So I'm not quite sure some of the English terms really correct. If you looks puzzled, just raise your hand. We can explain a little bit better. So the first point. 资源整合 so it's reorganize our resources, so and combine them, pulling together, and so how we can share, because Taiwan is now a big country, and so we do have a lot of resources, but we have not realized that, and so a lot of time we feel like we're starting from ground zero, and yet we don't have to do it alone, like Father Sun mentioned. And this was inspired by his points, and so you will hear a lot of things was inspired by his talk, that what can we actually very practically do in our Taiwan, in our diocese. Okay, so that's the first one. And the second one is to stir up the passion, 唤起 passion, 唤起激情或是唤起渴望. So stir up the passion actually in all of us and all the people we meet. How would they want to serve the families? And not just the old, but how do we stir up the passion in the young? And this is what we're talking about it. And then later you will see another point, the encounter, and it's everybody, not only the couples, so everybody. Yeah. And including Bishop. Yeah, that's the last point. I'm going to bring it back. Because bishops gave a very good feedback, and I think we should share a little bit here so you don't miss that part from the bishop's point of view. And the third one, it's experience the true love, 体会到真爱. Because love is a process. And we say the family and the couple grow together, and it is a process, but not until you experience, then your marriage life, your couple will not last. 所以真爱是需要体验的。如果你没有体验到，你没有办法持续。So that's what we said in our sharing, that how do we help the couple to experience, actually truly experience what is love's like, and that will sustain their marriage life, sustain as a couple. And fourth is passing on the experience. 我们中文讲的比较简单一点，平台的传承。那平台又有点像桥梁一样。So in our service in the church, oftentimes we feel like we are burned out and we want to quit. But when we quit, the experience stopped. So how can we keep on going and passing our experience and richness of each person's experience and continue to extend the service in the church? So the good resources doesn't die off because you quit. Okay, so how do we sustain each other, and how do we passing on? 所以传承很重要。很多时候我们在教会里面觉得，哎，我已经受够了，我已经做完了，我不能再给了，我要就是要放弃了。那这样的一个经验会因你停止继续服务而消失。所以我们怎么样继续把这样子的一个经验、一个好的资源传承下去？ Okay. Then the fifth one, it attracts the curiosity, 引起好奇心. So how do you stir up this curiosity, especially the young people, to curious how this couple that they can live together for so long and they're still couple and they are not stranger to each other. And sometimes when we stir up the curiosity, then they will want to know. But oftentimes, if we don't have that motivations, they just, okay, of course, that's it. But how do we stir up and brought out that they want to know, and they want to know the secret. They want to know how you live together for so long. 所以引起好奇心是在，尤其是现在对年轻人来讲，怎么样让他们觉得对，一对老夫妇、老夫妻们，他们能够还是夫妇，而且这么长久，那他们的秘密在哪里？诀窍在哪里？如果让年轻人有这样一个好奇心的话，他们想会去知道。Okay. So the last point, this is the best point. You probably want to take notes on this one. And if I don't say it well, Bishop Lee is going to give a little, yes, add the point to it. So, 用中文来讲，向上管理，So it sounds, in Chinese we say that upstream management. So Bishop bring up really points. Many of us know what and how to do. And we will just keep doing it and passing through the parish, our parishioners and everybody. But like Father Shen said, we're a body of Christ. So it can't just hand doing its own, leg going, it's somewhere, but the head doesn't know. And who is the head of this body? The bishops. So how do we communicate with the bishops and the priests? So we need to go upstream. Talk to them. And not so much managing and control them, but how do we dialogue with them? And so the points that we bring up earlier stirred up the passions, okay, attract their curiosity. So how do we attract the curiosity of the priest and the bishops? And allowing them have that passion with us and to move the ministry and the evangelizations, what we want to do with the family and the couples. So that will be a lot of technique on our part, but it's not impossible because from Bishop's point of view, actually they are waiting for us to communicate with them. They are waiting us to call them out. We need your support. We need your help. Yes, sometimes they want, like Father Tom shared, they don't know how. You know, because the problem is bigger than we all can face. But we, behind them, say, we would like to help. Can you support us? And this is how we can upstream communicate with them. And because they know, they will help us, steer us where we are going. So upstream management. Okay, 向上管理。我们的主教他们在等我们跟他们交谈，邀请他们怎么样引起他们的好奇心，怎么样引起他们这样子一个渴望跟热情跟我们一起合作。我们必须要跟他们交谈，我们的神职人员也是一样。所以引起他们的好奇心，然后我们怎么跟他们一起配合。
I just have well, Father Thomas, your sharing was excellent, but don't feel sad or feel lonely. I remember when I first started this family ministry, I just ordained, freshly new, and then the bishop just put me right into this ministry, and I've been doing for 1 year and a half. But just continue to have faith and trust in the company of all the brothers and sisters. I remember 1 year ago when I began at nothing. I know nothing. But with trust and confidence in God, we were going with that. And also, I try to bring to the causes of the model of we. The model of we that we say, we don't exclude them, but we inclusive, exclusive and inclusive. This model, we have to be cautious. Because when we say we inclusive, we can also be exclusive other people. So then, how much to the extension of the inclusiveness that we want to include all these marginal people that's been left out behind to the extent. What is that standard? It means that we still have to hold on to our faith, the teaching of the church. This is our standardization, and this is our norm. And the teaching of the church is from where? From the magisterium, from the church father, from the Bible. This is our norms and our value. So don't forget that. We can say that, yes, this is the we model. We can include everyone. It means that we can accept any behavior, any action that other people do. No, we have this standard. Okay, so don't forget, we exclude, but can we also exclude other people? So be cautious on this, and then this is what I would like to share. Okay?
Thank you. Just a few words.
A few words.
Very short. Yeah, I may have given you the wrong impression of what is happening in Japan with my somewhat inappropriate words. But I'm not saying nothing is happening. Like Wendy said, I was aware and I am aware that we did have the basic effort to nurture parish community through the model of the basic Christian communities. I am now assigned in Nagasaki Archdiocese, but I was aware some 17, 18 years ago, some of the priests, in collaboration with the then Archbishop Francis Xavier Shimamoto, they were sent to, let's say, Korea to learn the Korean model, which is called 7-step something, you know? No? Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Thank you,
what we
Father.
have to do is we have to reorganize all the resources that are available and draw on the experience of some of the family movements that do exist in Japan, marriage encounter, things like that. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, I think you brought up an important point, which was something we all gained from this time together, really the essentiality of networking and sharing together. Now we have a few moments, and if we could limit, we don't want to refrain the opportunity, but perhaps 1 minute from every person that would like to speak to give us some kind of feedback, evaluation. 30 seconds. Okay. Things you found helpful, suggestions you have for Wendy and the FABC, something that you would like to, could be improved, something that you gained, any comments or along the lines of an evaluation of this gathering so that we can know for the next time what would be more helpful, what you found very helpful, maybe what could be improved. We're open to any comments or suggestions. Please, 30 seconds per person, then we have more people have an opportunity to share with us. Okay, the floor is now open.
In behalf of the Mongolian team and Father Ronald and Bishop Wency Padilla, we would like to thank the organizers for the FABC East Asia. We'd like to thank each and everyone involved in the preparation. We had a fantastic time. We were very comfortable in the room. We felt so welcome. There are always friendly smiles, and the food, every day it gets better. Every day it gets better and better, and we are going home a few pounds heavier, but then again, thank you so much. It has been a real blessing being with you all this past few days. Bishop John, thank you very much for your guidance, for your support for each one of us.
Thank you to all of you. We came as strangers, but now we are in family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bishop Lee. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for FABC. I would like to suggest this is really a good opportunity that we get together to know each other well, who are doing what. However, I would suggest this is just the beginning for our next steps. then prayer are needed, and pray for the Holy Father's intention and all the fidelities for all the vocations for everybody, inclusive of ordinary faithful. Thank you.
Any comments perhaps about the timing, the nature of the talks, the input that you found helpful, the discussion groups? Was it enough? Was it not too much? You wished more small group opportunities? Comments along that nature that may be helpful for the organizing committee. I know we all enjoyed the outing last night and the wonderful dinner and the fun entertainment. That was a very nice addition. Comments along those natures are very welcome as well. Okay. The input, what you found most helpful perhaps, or
I think we have to be very good examples in front of children and of course in front of other couples. But in terms of children, we are the model. We deliver love to them. Do they sensitive about that? Then otherwise they don't really just use their iPhone, their game every day instead of looking at their parents. So I think we have to start again. We have to tell the young couples to how to love your children and care. And also we have to consider our husband as our youngest kid. That's the main point. And then it's okay, ladies. We are women. We are wife in a house. The husband is the head of the family. They earn the living. They are the master. But we are the lad. We turn them whatever we want to. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. Then we would have time for one or two more comments or reflections.
Since I'm the odd organization in here, and personally this is also my more odd because I work with women and I'm single at that. But representing Wukwo, I think the organization has always been in solidarity with the Catholic Church and had been a voice in Vatican with the bishops and as much as possible. But learning so much things today, like I would like to include it in my report that the family orientation is as much as responsibility, is always a responsibility, has always been part of the responsibility of women. So we could include it as part of our priority problems. One of the priority problems, because we had been with Middle East, Asia women problem of Africa women, and I suppose sending me here means I have to report about the problems of family in Asia, at least East Asia. So I would like to do that. So thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other comments, then may I invite you, Wendy, to give us some concluding remarks.
Thank you, Sister Mary Beth. Give her a round of applause, please. Thank you. Just to say very quickly that normally after a conference of this type, the FABC will put together the documentation. I think we have quite a number of people with documentation, and Sister Mary Beth is the collection point if you have not yet submitted anything. Also, we would like to be the platform that you were talking about. So we could work with, where are you, Deacon Louis? Yeah, we could work with you, maybe with your help, because when I go back, I'm going to a meeting on the FABC website. So I can raise this as another development within the family page to have a possibility of interaction
for people in the, maybe not only East Asia, but we can have different sections so that we can widen the to Southeast Asia as well. So that's the other point. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If any of you haven't done enough shopping and you still have some loose cash and you'd like to make a donation towards this conference and you haven't yet had the time to do it, the person, Sinpin, can you please raise your hand? The person to whom you can give the money to is Sinpin at the back there. But absolutely no obligation to do it, but I just mention it in case you forgot. And the cash is burning a hole in your pocket. Yeah? Okay. All right. You know FABC is a very poor organization, so we're always happy to have some help with funding. We want to thank our benefactors, some donors from Singapore, and also the Aid to the Church in Need, an organization based in Germany and Canada that have helped us also with quite a lot of the funding for this conference, but all in small percentages. So we have many, many donors, and I'd like to thank the Hsinchu Diocese also for the funding aspect. Other thank yous will come at the end of the Eucharist. So for now, I think it's time, getting quite late actually. Can we delay Mass by 10 minutes? Yes? So if that's all right. Does anyone have any last thing they absolutely need to say? No, thank you very much.